Stanford University.
Now we're going to give you a taste of what happens across campus. Luke Baker from the Business School, Priya Fielding Singh from Sociology, Carolyn Hodge, who's running the Stanford Farm Project, and Kyle Kraft, who runs Spoon. Their bios are in here. These are intentionally short so that we can give you content, not introductions. And here's the pointer if you, oh yeah, you need to switch slides. Forward, backward, pointer if you need it.
Thanks, Christopher. Good morning. As Chris said, I'm Luke Baker. I'm a second-year MBA candidate at the Graduate School of Business, the GSB. And I'm also one of the co-presidents of the Food, Agriculture and Resource Management Club, the Farm Club, which must be one of Stanford's most convenient acronyms. Sorry we can't help out with SCARF at this point, Christopher. I came to Stanford in September of last year from Australia, which is where I grew up. And I wasn't surprised to arrive at the business school and learn that the venture capital and private equity and management consulting clubs were amongst the biggest in terms of membership at the GSB. But I was surprised to learn that the Farm Club was right there alongside them as one of the biggest clubs, and that we count about 15% of the GSB's student body as our membership. Given that the Farm Club's only about 3 years old, that's pretty remarkable, I think. And I think it indicates the level of interest that we have in food and the food system here at Stanford, and particularly at the business school. As a student-led club, we exist to bring together students with common interests in different parts of the food system. And our membership includes those with a casual interest in nutrition, some with career aspirations in agribusiness, as well as those with entrepreneurial dreams in innovative food service ventures. The primary thing we do as a student-led club is bring speakers to the campus. Some of our recent guests include the Chief Executive Officer of Earthbound Farm, which is North America's largest organic grower. Charles Sweat was a GSB graduate a number of years ago, and he was able to offer the combined perspective of being an organic farmer, as well as growing a business from 10 million in revenue to 400 million in revenue over the last 10 years, which for GSB students is pretty interesting. We've also had the Chief Operations Officer of one of California's leading sustainable meat producers, Marin Sun Farms. We had the Vice Chief of the International Haas Avocado Board come and talk to us about the intersection of macroeconomics and avocados. Karen Ginsberg is a leading animal welfare campaigner and an author. She came and spoke to us about both the animal welfare movement and how it relates to agriculture, and also more broadly gaining traction with social movements. And of course, always a crowd favorite, our Stanford food guru and main protagonist of the Food Summit, Professor Christopher Gardner. The second main thing that we do at the Farm Club is we build connections for students who seek careers in food and agriculture or want to pursue entrepreneurial pursuits in food. Recently, we've had students go into the traditional food sector, Del Monte Foods, General Mills, Walmart, as well as some smaller and more innovative food industry protagonists such as Italy in New York or Sandhill Foods over here on Sandhill Road. Perhaps more interestingly, there's a lot of food-related entrepreneurship springing up out of the GSB. Just a couple of examples. Culture Kitchen was actually born at the D School but had a number of MBA candidates amongst its founding team. They provide a subscription boxed, ready-to-make meal service for those who want to make exotic meals but lack the recipes and knowledge and specialized utensils. Another one, Kitchit. These guys are providing a platform for people to bring local, well-renowned chefs into their home to host dinner parties. One other thing I want to point out is the Edible Startups blog. I'm not sure if many of you have seen this, but it's definitely worth a look. Michelle Paratore was my predecessor as a co-president of the Farm Club, and she has a wonderful blog looking at local and national level innovation in food and food systems, so that's definitely worth a look. The final thing we do at the Farm Club is interact with the broader food-related community here at Stanford. We organize days at the Stanford Farm, among other things. So if you are part of an organization and you would like to reach out to interact with us, then there's my email. I'm not sure how clear it is. It's ljbaker@stanford.edu, so please get in touch if you'd like to continue the conversation. Thank you.
All right, now we'll have Priya Fielding Singh talking about some graduate work, some organization she's trying to do. Priya, all yours.
Thanks, Christopher. So, like Christopher mentioned, my name is Priya, and I'm a PhD student in sociology. And I study how individuals are recruited to the food and environmental movements. And like most social movements, current and past, you can find activism and people mobilizing across a lot of institutional settings. But one place that you almost always find them is on college campuses. So I look at how university students learn about, begin to care about, and then begin to act on a concern for where our food comes from and how it's consumed. And last spring, when I was presenting some of my work to my department, I realized that some of my colleagues didn't really know what the food movement was. I was particularly concerned when one of my professors asked me how joining the food movement was different from joining a band. So this made me think that if I was serious about doing research in food systems, then I was going to have to look beyond my department for other people who were invested in this work. And luckily, I had taken Christopher Gardner's and Tom Robinson's Food and Society class, so I knew that there were a lot of professors doing research on these issues. But a lot of the fun and intellectual stimulation that comes from being in graduate school is talking with other graduate students who are also just at the beginning of their research careers and trying to figure out how to carve out a piece of these huge problems for them to look at. So that was the motivation behind starting the Stanford Interdisciplinary Food Forum. Last spring, I applied for a grant from the Vice Provost for Graduate Education and received funding to start this year. And what I wanted the group to be was an ongoing space for graduate students to come together and talk about the research they were doing or the research they saw going on around them, and get feedback on our work, and also brainstorm ways that we could potentially collaborate with each other or across disciplines. So we've started this year, and we have a very diverse membership. We have students from all 7 schools, and we meet 4 times a quarter to talk about a number of things. So we're starting this quarter off by figuring out how it is possible to talk in an interdisciplinary way about food issues. It's easy enough to say we want to work with people across disciplines, but how do you make sure that you're talking with each other and not past each other? So for each session, we pick a different pertinent food topic. For instance, the Farm Bill. Our next meeting, which takes place the day after the election, we're going to talk about GMOs, and I'm sure that'll be a lively discussion after the results of Prop 37 come out. And hopefully we'll be able to build a tighter network of graduate students and professors who are working on food systems here at Stanford. So this is all to say, if you are a graduate student interested in food issues, you should be a part of this group. If you are a professor, a researcher, or an activist who is working on something and wants to get feedback from a bunch of students who care about the work that you're doing, then you should come and talk to me. And I will be, during the showcase, helping at the Stanford Farm Project, so you can come and stop by, and I'd love to hear your ideas. Thanks.
Thank you, Priya. All right, now it's going to be Carolyn Hodge for the Stanford Farm Project.
All right, hi everyone. My name is Caroline Hodge.
20 minutes for everybody else.
And I'm a senior. I'm thrilled to be here today to talk to you a little bit about a group that's very near and dear to my heart and that I think is doing some really excellent work. So the Stanford Farm Project started in 2010 as an amalgamation of a couple of other smaller student groups. And we're now in our 3rd year. We have about 20 or 25 active members. So we are basically the undergraduate arm of the food movement at Stanford. We're a platform for students interested in food and agriculture issues. And more specifically, we are dedicated to eating, growing, and understanding food. We do this also in collaboration with other organizations on campus, other people who are interested in the same thing. So we've been working with Stanford Dining. We've worked with a little bit with Christopher Gardner and the food helix and food education stuff that's going on. We've also worked very closely with Patrick Archie, who's standing there in the back, who is the program director of the Stanford Educational Farm. So our focus has shifted a little bit over the years, but today I just want to highlight a couple of the projects that we're working on right now, which are pretty exciting. So the first one of these is the Farm to Fork event series. This basically is a series we hold every quarter. We started in fall of last year with 5 events. Now we're in our 4th quarter. We have 9 events this quarter. That's almost 1 event per week, which is pretty impressive, I think, for a student group. So these are just workshops and events, speakers who are coming to campus to talk about food and agriculture issues. So we've had a lot of workshops that are around cooking and preparing food. So pictured here is a cooking workshop. You can see Marika on the right, who is here today. So we've had a lot of workshops that focus on jam making, cooking, cheese making, tofu making. Those have been super popular. People just going out to be in the kitchen and learn how to prepare food, which is a skill that a lot of young people are not as familiar with as you might expect. But our focus is also broader than that with the Farm to Fork series. So we've had a lot of events that are kind of on broader food issues. So pictured here is an event we had last spring. We brought in an expert to speak about the Farm Bill from the Environmental Working Group. And we also had recently an event on food justice. We also have brought in farmers in the Bay Area to talk about what it's like to start a farm, some of the issues that they face with land access. So that's Farm to Fork, which is one of our major projects. Another one of those is the Stanford Farm Stand. So the Stanford Farm Stand is a project that we work on closely with Patrick Archie from the Stanford Educational Farm. It's every Friday from 11 to 1 at White Plaza. And basically what we do is we give away produce that's grown at the Stanford Educational Farm, which is about a mile from here, close to the equestrian area. And the Stanford Farm Stand has been in existence in the past, but our focus is a little bit different this year. For one, we're giving away the produce, which is really fun. We just get to give away tomatoes and strawberries and eggplants and see people's faces when they get to try a delicious cherry tomato or a farm fresh strawberry. And the other thing that we're doing differently this year is we're trying to make the farm stand kind of an educational hub. So we're giving away information to people about food systems programs that are happening on campus, that are happening in the Bay Area. So we've had information about Prop 37, we've had information just about, we've been advertising the Food Summit there, and we're really interested in getting more information out there. So this is a great opportunity for collaboration. So if your organization has some information that you'd like to advertise, please come find us later. So that's the Stanford Farm Stand. Another project that we're working really closely with Patrick on is planning events at the Stanford Educational Farm. So earlier this year we held a pizza party there. So had a work day and then a pizza party, and those actually happen every Sunday from 2 to 5, and we often have Stanford Farm Project members there. So pictured here is some people working at the farm. I don't know, I guess you can't see, but we have chickens there, which is really exciting. And then here's some people enjoying pizza. We have Marika again, star of the PowerPoint. And so the last program I just want to highlight is spot farming. So spot farming is, once again, a project that we're working on in collaboration with a larger campus organization. So spot farming is a program that brings groups of freshmen, they're about 10 to 12 freshmen, with 2 trained upperclassmen leaders to spend 5 days on a local organic farm. And so the idea here is just to expose students, before they even get to Stanford, expose them to all the food issues that are really going on while giving them the opportunity to bond with each other. And this is part of the larger SPOT program, which plans these trips for freshmen. So most of the trips are backpacking trips, but a few of them are now farming trips. So the program's now in its 3rd year. We had 45 freshmen and 9 upperclassmen leaders. And I just want to point out, one of the farms we went to was Hidden Villa, and Samantha Ledgman is here. So we're very grateful to Hidden Villa for letting us come. This is another thing where we're looking for more farms. We're looking to expand. We went to 4 farms last year, but the only thing stopping our program from growing is having more farms. So come talk to us about that. So that's all I have for you today. I'd really like to keep the conversation going, and we have a lot of representatives from the Stanford Farm Project here today. So please come visit us at the showcase. We'll have a table, and we'll also have a table for spot farming to talk specifically about new partnerships with farms. So we'd love to, again, we'd love to have speakers for our Farm to Fork event series. So if you want to come speak, or you know someone who you think would be a great speaker or put on a great workshop, please come and find us. We're also looking for materials about food and farming in the Bay Area. We'd love to showcase your organization or whatever it is that you're working on that you think students and Stanford community members would be interested in. And then lastly, like I mentioned, we'd love to find new farms for spot farming. And I'd also really encourage you to check out our website. It's stanfordfarmproject.wordpress.com. It's more of it's a blog and a website, so it has static information and then changing information. And we often have pictures up there. It's really, really awesome blog. And finally, if you're a student and you're interested in joining our group, we would love to have you. We meet on Mondays at 7:15 at Arriaga Dining on the 1st floor. So thank you very much.
Thanks, Carolyn. Okay, we're going to pass this along to Kyle, who's going to tell us about Spoon.
All right. Good morning, everyone. My name is Kyle Kraft, and as Christopher said, I'm going to introduce a program called Spoon, home to one of the more infamous acronyms on campus, because we are also known as the Stanford Project on Hunger. And once upon a time, we were called the Stanford Project on Nutrition, and even then, we were sticking in an extra O. We changed our name sometime in the 90s to Stanford Project on Hunger, but we kept the acronym because it was too good to give up. So, I've been involved with Spoon for about 4 years now, and one of the things that attracted me to Spoon was that I thought it was a very elegant service organization, and by that I mean that it takes 2 problems and pairs them together to make a solution, and that's food waste and hunger relief. So, excuse me, that's not the way I want to go. There we go. So, what we do is we take leftover food on campus that otherwise would have been thrown away, and we channel it into the local community. And if you're not aware, between 1/3 and 1/2 of all food produced in the United States eventually gets thrown away. And we take that leftover food and actually put it to use. So, and we also hold hunger and homelessness awareness events on campus throughout the year. So, we have 3 phases of a program, and one of the main ones is food pickups, as I've talked a bit about. Food pickups, I can describe food pickups 3 ways. It's very efficient what we do. We have a freezer that we keep on campus that we store all the food. And if you're a volunteer, if a food pickup volunteer, it only takes about 1 hour per week to show up to the dining hall or the kitchen, take the food and store it in our freezer. And from there, once a week, a truck from the food bank will come and pick it up. So with a pretty minimal commitment, we have a very big impact with the food pickups. We can save about over 12,000 pounds of food a year just doing this if we coordinate lots and lots of volunteers. And it's also very expandable. Like I said, maybe 40% of food produced is wasted, so there's food waste everywhere. And we can always expand. There's a student program, a similar one in Boston University, that they at least claim to save about 250,000 pounds of food a year. And they have like a fleet of vans that go out into the community to big grocery stores and take the food there. But right now, we're at about 12 to 14,000 pounds of food on a good year. So And also, when we expand to businesses, some businesses, if you donate food, you're actually protected from liability through the Bill Emerson Good Samaritan Food Donation Act. So there's no reason not to donate if you're a restaurant or business. Another thing we do is breakfast cooks, where we get groups together like dorms or frats or sororities, and they'll buy food, they'll cook it up, and then they'll go to the Opportunity Center in Palo Alto to actually serve the food out. That way you can have a little personal interaction with our clients, because otherwise with the food pickups, this is a very decentralized program. The volunteers usually pick up in pairs, but you go to your assigned pickup once a week, take it to a shed by the Haas Center, and you don't really interact with anyone else in the program. So breakfast cooks are a good way to really see where the food's going, who we're serving. And like I said, this is the Opportunity Center. That's where the food, that's where we do breakfast cooks. So with that said, future directions for the program is, one thing I'd like to do is bring the nutrition back to Spoon with a possible name change. Because on the left, you see the ideal food plate of a balanced meal, according to the FDA's new food pyramid. And what you see on the right is a rough average of the type of food that we actually donate. And it's just a general trend that fresh fruit and fresh vegetables, they do not get donated as much. So one thing we're trying to do is partner with programs like the Gleaning Project that picks fresh fruit from campus, and just find different ways to bring more fresh fruit, more fresh vegetables, and really balance out the types of food that we donate. So that's what we do. And I'd be happy if you contacted us, whether you want to be a food volunteer, a food pickup volunteer, whether you want to organize a breakfast cook with your group, or if you have leftover food. One thing that I really want to get the word out about is we can pick up from events, and a lot of people don't know to contact us beforehand. But if you email stanfordspoon@gmail.com and let us know that you have an event and there's likely to be leftover food, we can come and pick it up and save that food. So, thank you.
For more, please visit us at stanford.edu.